Hey, how you doing? I'm Michael. Glad you could make it. Today we're going to take a look at a video. And the video is titled Cricket Explained for Baseball Fans. And it's from a video channel, a YouTube channel called Sports Explained. Now, on this channel, I look at sports I'm relatively unfamiliar with, and cricket's one of them. I'm not sure if you know cricket or not, but I certainly know it exists. I know the name, I know it's big, but it's not really big in the US. So I've seen clips here and there, but I don't really know how it's played. But I do know how baseball is played. So Cricket Explained for Baseball Fans. We'll check it out. If you liked the video, it would be great if you liked, commented, subscribed. That would be very cool. I'd appreciate that. And so let's get to this. It's a relatively long video, so we'll get to it quickly and see what we can learn about the game of cricket.
Cricket explained if you already know baseball.
All right, to get this started, I want you to imagine a game much like baseball, except there are only two bases.
Home plate and pitcher's mound.
And you make it to the pitcher's mound, that's a run. And then if you're able to make it back to home plate, then you score 2 runs on that play. This game is played in the middle of an oval, so there's no foul area. You can hit the ball behind.
I knew it was played on a very big field. I never pictured the pitching and batting part to be in the middle like that was. That was interesting.
Behind you can hit it to the side or whatever. And in this game, the pitchers are allowed to bounce the ball. If you can picture this game in your mind, you are...
I don't want to stop this very often because it's kind of long, but I am curious about what he just said. He said the pitchers are allowed to bounce the ball. But my question is, are they required to bounce the ball? I don't think I've ever seen a clip where they didn't bounce the ball. I thought it was a rule. But maybe they do it because it's more effective, but they don't necessarily have to.
Are 75% of the way to understanding cricket. The rest of it is details. Before we get started, I just want to say that I'm going to be explaining this like I would to a friend of mine who knows baseball and wants to know about cricket. I'm probably going to be switching between baseball and cricket terminology a little bit more freely than maybe somebody who's a hardcore cricket fan might be comfortable with. Okay. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but what might be more fun is if you made a companion video that explains baseball in reverse. All right, let's get started.
Basic gameplay.
So cricket is a game played between 2 teams of 11 players. When a team is fielding, all 11 of its players are on the field at the same time. 9 players are out in the field at the various positions, and then there's 1 bowler, who is basically the pitcher, and 1 wicketkeeper, who is basically the catcher. And then the team that is batting has 2 players at bat at any given time. These batters stand at opposite ends of the pitch, which is a narrow rectangle that's in the middle of the oval that is the cricket field. At the ends of the pitch are 2 wickets, which are these little structures that have 3 stumps and 2 bails. The stumps are the 3 pieces of wood that are in the ground, and the bails are these 2 little pieces of wood that rest on top of the stumps. A play begins when the bowler...
I had no idea there was anything on top of those 3 vertical things. I'm not sure how it comes into play. I always assumed that was kind of, those 3 things were kind of a strike zone, but maybe that's not the case.
Basically, the pitcher bowls the ball to the batter. The bowler is ultimately trying to break the wicket, which would get the batter out, and more on that later. The batter is trying to protect the wicket and put the ball in play. If the ball is put in play,
that's interesting.
And the batter and the teammate are able to switch places. So basically...
So the batter is he's protecting the wicket. I never would have guessed that.
Assume the other one's position, the team has scored a run. And if they can do that again, then they score 2. And if they can do that again, they score 3, etc. There are no strikes in cricket. The batter can just choose not to swing if they don't want to. And there's no penalty for hitting a batter with a legally thrown ball. Batters are expected to protect the wicket and not let themselves get hit. In fact, as we'll see in a little bit, there are actually situations where a batter can be called out if they allow themselves to be hit with the ball. There is the equivalent of a ball in cricket. It's called a wide. And if the umpire has determined that the bowler has bowled the ball wide, 1 run is awarded to the batting team. There's also something in cricket called a no ball, which is when the umpire has determined that the ball has been delivered illegally. And there's a couple dozen different reasons why an umpire might call a no ball. If the umpire calls a no ball, just like a wide, 1 run is awarded to the batting team. In cricket, the
Okay, first of all, you can't go wrong with a John Goodman Big Lebowski pick for a second there. But my question is, the pitching motion is like this way instead of this way. Is that a rule? I thought he would cover that for sure, because that's very different. I'm assuming that is in the rules it has to be done that way. And I notice now that these batters are, standing oftentimes in front of the wicket, and I guess that's to protect it. Now I know.
batters stay on the field until they are out. So they continue to bat and score runs until they are put out. This means that, just like in baseball, a batter can be out with one single swing of the bat, or they can stay at bat, I guess forever. But it's common for a batter to score between like 20 and 50 runs in an at-bat, and it's not unheard of for a batter to hit 100. This is called a century, and it's very fun.
The boundary.
Along the perimeter of the cricket field is the boundary. This can be a rope or a little cushion type thing, or it could be a short fence or a wall. When a ball is put in play and it reaches or goes past the boundary, that is called a boundary. A ball that rolls and hits or passes the boundary or bounces over the boundary like a ground rule double is worth 4 runs for the batting team. A ball that is hit over the boundary, so basically like a home run, is worth 6 runs for the batting team.
Oh, and it's a pretty short wall.
There are several ways that a batter or runner can get put out in cricket, and they boil down to 2 basic categories. A batter can be caught out, which is just like baseball. They hit a ball in the air and a fielder catches it. Or they can be out if the fielding team knocks the bails off the stumps of the wicket when you are in a position where that can put you out. There's a few different ways this could happen. You could be run out. This is where you are trying to score a run, but they knock the ball into the wicket before you reach the crease that defines the place where you are safe. By the way, the bat is part of your body when determining whether or not you are safe. You can be bowled out, and these are very exciting. This is where the bowler sends the ball to you, and the ball bounces past you and knocks the bails off the stumps. A batter can also be put out by the wicketkeeper if the batter moves past this line here called the popping crease, and the wicketkeeper gains possession of the ball and knocks the bails off the stumps. This is called being stumped out.
I've seen clips of this sport every now and then, but I've never seen anything resembling like anyone throwing the ball to knock over the wickets. That's completely unexpected. I did not know that.
A batter can also be called out if they allow the ball to hit them and the umpire determines that the ball would have knocked the bails off the stumps if the batter had not interfered with their body. This is called a leg before wicket. So those are the most common ways that you will see a batter or runner get put out by the fielding team. There are several other much less common ways for a batter to get out, and we will not be getting into them here. One major difference between baseball and cricket is in cricket, if the fielding team thinks they have gotten a batter or runner out, they first have to appeal to the umpire who will confirm whether or not the batter or runner is out. So if a batter or runner would be out, but no one on the fielding team notices it, then play just continues, and the umpire will not just call them out. When a player is put out, the bowling and fielding team is said to have taken the wicket, and the batting and running team is said to have.
They've only shown ones where the guy has successfully hit the wicket. I assume that they don't hit it every time when they throw it, and there must be like the catcher to back up and get that before anything else happens.
Lost the wicket.
Overs.
Each series of 6 pitches or deliveries, which are called balls, is called an over. Each over has only one bowler, and each bowler only bowls one over at a time. So after a bowler has delivered 6 balls, they take a position in the field, and another player comes in to be the bowler for the next.
So everyone on the team, I think they said 11, everyone has to at some point be the bowler. Is that right? Everyone has to be the bowler at some point. It sounds like what he just said. That's interesting. That's definitely different than baseball because pitchers are so specialized, that's all they do. But here, if everyone has to do it.
Over. A bowler can field for an over and then come back to bowl again, but a bowler may not bowl 2 consecutive overs. If you're comparing this all to baseball, overs are similar to individual at-bats in terms of the flow of the game, right? It's like one series of deliveries that everyone's watching, and then there's a brief pause while a new player comes on, and then there's a next set of deliveries that everyone's watching. The difference, of course, is that it's the bowlers, the pitchers that are coming in and out, and not the batters.
That is
Formats.
interesting.
Beyond everything that has been explained so far, the majority of the details of the game that you watch will depend on the format of cricket that you're watching. There are 2 basic formats of the game of cricket. There's first class cricket and there's limited overs cricket. First class cricket is what a lot of people think of.
See, this is what I've seen, like those vests, those sweaters, those vests, like 1963 Rod Laver. Those are great. That's what I think of when I think of cricket, the all-white stuff.
When they think of cricket, we're talking about the games that go on for several days. Everyone is wearing white. Maybe the Queen shows up. And first class cricket is most associated with the 5-day-long test matches that international teams play against one another. They're scheduled for 5 days, but they might be completed before that. At the beginning of the first day, there is a coin toss to determine which team goes first. And then the sides alternate going through their entire batting order. This happens twice. So each team goes through its batting order twice for a total of 4 innings. Unless the team that goes second.
Did he say that when they wear white, like the traditional white vests and things, that's country versus country usually? And when they wear like the more modern jerseys, that's maybe a league, a professional league? I mean, because do they still do the whites when it's a test match? I guess they do. And I think that's country versus, between national teams. Okay, that's cool.
Scores more runs than the team that went first, in which case they don't have to actually finish their entire innings. They just win the game. That was very simplified. The rules governing test matches could be their own 15-minute video. The other format of cricket is limited overs cricket, where each team is limited to a certain number of overs, and each innings comes to an end when the specified number of overs has been reached or when all of the batters are out, whichever comes first. There are several types of limited overs cricket, but there are 2 that you are most likely to see. The first of these are the one-day internationals, or ODI. These are played between national teams, and each team has 50 overs, and then there's also...
I want to ask this, if anyone's still watching, you can answer this if you know it. So every team, I think he said, had 11 players. Each team, 11 players. Now, so as far as I could tell, every one of the players is sometimes the bowler, sometimes the batter, sometimes a fielder. Is that correct? Because if that's correct, that's interesting, because it's another example of an American sport baseball, comparable sport, being so specialized. A third baseman is a third baseman. A pitcher is a pitcher. They all hit. All the fielding positions hit, but defensively they're on a very specific part of the field with specific responsibilities. And this one looks more like everybody has to do a little bit of everything. I think that's how it is. I don't know.
T20 cricket, which is 2020 cricket, where both teams get only 20 overs. This style of cricket was invented to be more exciting and more fast-paced, and to put the length of an individual match around the same as other common sporting events around the world. An easy way to know whether you're watching a test match or a limited overs match is whether the teams are wearing white or colors. And if you are watching a professional match, you're almost definitely watching a T20 match.
Scorekeeping.
All right, pay attention, because this is maybe the most confusing part of all of this, the scorekeeping. So at the bottom of the screen, you'll see it says India, and then it says 118 for 5. This does not mean that the score is 118 runs to 5 runs. No, this means that India has scored 118 runs for 5 wickets, which means that 5 of their batters have been put out. Then it says first innings, so this is the first innings of this match. Then it says England 287. So that's how many runs England scored in their innings. And since this is a test match, both teams will play 2 innings. Then you've got information about the 2 batsmen that are currently up and how many runs they've scored so far. Then at the end, it says Broad 0 for 24. This means that Broad, the bowler, has taken 0 wickets so far and has allowed 24 runs. And then the 15 o'clock over there, that's just the time of the day. It's 3 p.m. Now, for a limited overs match, there's a little bit more information that you need to know. So here you go. Down at the bottom, it says England. This is another game between England and India. It's a women's game. So it says England 103 for 4. So that means that they've scored 103 runs for 4 wickets. P2, don't worry about what that means yet. Then it says 24.3 of 50. That means that we are 24 overs and 3 deliveries into this innings. And then the 50 means that this innings will have at most 50 overs, right? Because this is a one-day international. Then it says target 222. This means that India went first and scored 222 runs. So that's how many runs England has to score to win. And from there, it's pretty much the same as the test match we just saw.
I want to ask a question, because there's a batter in red and there's another batter in red, and they're both carrying their bats. Is that something that is in the rules? You got to hold on to the bat? Because, obviously in American baseball, if you make contact and you have to run to first, you drop the bat. But these guys look like they hold on to it.
Be careful, because if you're watching an Australian broadcast, the scores are reversed. The wickets are first and the runs are second. So on this one, it says Ren, that's the Renegades, that's one of the teams, 5 for 135. So it's 5 wickets for 135 runs. So just be careful, it might be confusing.
Some final similarities and differences.
All right, that's basically it. I thought that we would end this video with a few more similarities and differences between baseball and cricket. One major difference is that in cricket, if a ball is in play, the runners are not compelled to move, right? You only run if you think you can make a run. One similarity is that every cricket ground has different dimensions and a different shape. And much like in baseball, this means that certain cricket grounds are more favorable or less favorable to different play styles. Another difference is that in cricket, the positions refer to places on the field and not necessarily the individual fielders. So if baseball had a similar thing, like you would not be the shortstop for your team, you would just be a fielder who would be playing shortstop position. And then if your team was in a shift or whatever, maybe you would be said that you were in the second base position. Or maybe for one batter, you would be in the shallow mid outfield position, right? Another similarity is that in cricket, players' on-field and off-the-field behavior is governed by an old-fashioned sense of propriety that's not unlike the unwritten rules in baseball. And the final difference that's probably become clear to you as you watch this video is that cricket is a much more international game than baseball. I don't mean to say that it is more popular in more countries than baseball, although this might also be true. What I mean by this is that international competitions, so competitions between national teams, are the norm. They're not like a special thing that everyone tunes into every 4 years.
Is there a cricket world championship every year held somewhere? That's interesting, if that's true.
Professional cricket is a relatively new phenomenon in the world, and while
That pitch looked like it didn't bounce, and it looked like it got crushed.
leagues are becoming much more popular these days, it wasn't very long ago that professional cricket was looked upon as diluting the purity of the game. All right, baseball fan, you have just become a cricket master, and you are ready to watch any cricket game that comes across your.
If you're still here, here's my last question. Who are the superstars? If everyone has to do everything, I think that's the case. I think that's what he said. And there must be some, stars. Are the stars the ones who are the good bowlers or the good hitters? Are there some great batsmen? Is that what it's called? Some great batsmen, but they're not great bowlers. It doesn't look like it looks like the fielding is pretty, everyone kind of can handle it. So I don't see anyone really standing out in terms of their fielding abilities, but as far as the bowling and batting, I wonder who the big stars are. Are they guys who get people out, or are they guys who knock in runs, or are they both? Anyway, that's interesting.
Television. If you are a cricket fan and you notice that I got something wrong, which I probably have, or that I left something out, which I probably did, feel free to let me know in the comments. Although, like I said before, it might be more fun for you to just make your own companion video. I would love to watch a video where an actual lifelong cricket fan tries to explain cricket for baseball fans, or tries to
This right here, this guy in pink, this swing, for whatever reason, looks just like a baseball swing. A lot of the times I noticed the people hitting were kind of almost square and in front of the wickets instead of like sideways to the pitcher. And so a lot of the swings didn't really look like what you'd see in baseball, but this is like textbook baseball swing. I wonder how often this happens.
explain baseball for cricket fans.
Wow, that's interesting. It was cool to see that last swing because it looked so familiar. So that's I still don't really know the scoring, and I still don't. I mean, I know more than I did before it started, but I don't really know it exactly. And I also am not positive that everyone takes their turn bowling and everyone takes their turn hitting. In America, football, baseball, things are so specialized positions. It's different to see sports like this that are not so specialized, and everyone has to do every part of the game, which is makes it very cool. So anyway, that's cricket explained for baseball fans. I'm not necessarily a baseball fan these days, but I certainly know the game from a life of being around it. So it was helpful, and I hope you liked it. All right, talk to you later. Oh yeah, if you want to subscribe, that would be great. It's always nice to have that, or comment, or like, whatever you like. That would be great. Thanks a lot. See you later.